Today I will tell you about cloves. Many people associate this spice with mulled wine, compotes, pickled products or sauerkraut. But cloves are more than just a simple spicy plant. In this video, I will tell you why it is worth reaching for cloves on a regular basis, and I'm not referring to its flavor and aroma, but to its health-promoting properties. At the end of this episode, I will also provide a simple recipe for a syrup and infusion of cloves, which my grandmother always used and which was helpful in times of weakened immunity. But first, let me tell you about the medicinal effects of cloves. Before I do that, I must emphasize one thing. As of today, we don't have many scientific studies on the health properties of cloves that have been conducted with humans. The existing knowledge about the effects of cloves mostly comes from in vitro and animal experiments. And it is mainly on this scientific data that I will base my video today, as these are the studies we currently have the most of. And the studied health properties of cloves are largely due to the presence of a compound called Eugenol. Eugenol is a phenolic compound characterized by its high antioxidant activity. It is the main component of clove oil, but it can also be found in other substances such as cinnamon. The first property of cloves that I would like to discuss is their antimicrobial activity. Cloves, and particularly the essential oil contained within them, have a high ability to inhibit the growth of many species of bacteria. A number of scientific studies have shown that the compounds in cloves can inhibit the growth of bacteria such as Escherichia coli, Staphylococcus aureus, Bacillus cereus, Pseudomonas aeruginosa and Listeria monocytogenes, which is responsible for causing a bacterial infection called listeriosis. Cloves also have antifungal activity against many species of fungi, including Mucor, Fusarium, as well as Aspergillus. It is the aforementioned antibacterial and antifungal properties that make cloves used in some homes to treat weakened immunity or bacterial infections. Scientific publications also show that cloves can likely have a protective effect on the liver. Scientists have demonstrated that eugenol, which is found in cloves, helps the liver neutralize xenobiotics, or substances that are foreign and potentially hazardous to our bodies. There is also scientific evidence that cloves can protect the liver from steatosis and cirrhosis due to their anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects. Also, in one study, its authors noted that the active ingredients contained in cloves can protect the liver to some extent from the harmful effects of alcohol. When discussing the health benefits of consuming cloves and the oil present in them, we must also mention their anti-cancer properties. In vitro experiments conducted on various cell lines have unequivocally confirmed that the effectiveness of cloves in destroying cancer cells is really high. The authors of the study noted that cloves can inhibit the development of colon cancer, liver cancer, or breast cancer. This anti-cancer effect takes place mainly on two levels. First, the compounds present in cloves inhibit the cell cycle of cancer cells, preventing their multiplication, and second, they enhance apoptosis, or the death of these cells. Based on the results, the researchers stressed that cloves are a promising anti-cancer agent with a possible enhancing effect on chemotherapy. There is growing evidence in the scientific literature that cloves may be helpful in treating ulcers or relieving symptoms associated with them. In experiments performed on animals, it has been noted that the use of clove extract can reduce the number and size of ulcers caused by ethanol and hydrochloric acid. In short, cloves containing eugenol can accelerate gastric healing. Scientists speculate that cloves have a protective effect on the gastrointestinal tract by stimulating the production of mucus, which is an important gastroprotective factor. In addition, they noted that another of the bioactive compounds found in cloves, beta-carophylline, has the ability to destroy the Helicobacter pylori bacteria responsible for ulcers. Moreover, this ingredient soothes inflammation of the gastric mucosa. There are also some scientific indications of the beneficial effects of cloves on the health of people struggling with type 2 diabetes, as well as those in the pre-diabetic state preceding diabetes. A pilot study was published in 2019 which admittedly included a small group of patients, only 13 people, but the results showed promise. The researchers noted that the use of clove-based extract resulted in a significant reduction in blood sugar levels both before and after meals. The authors of the experiment suggest that there are several possible mechanisms by which cloves may lower blood glucose levels. Firstly, the use of cloves can likely increase the uptake of glucose from the blood by muscle cells. Secondly, they may inhibit the production of glucose by hepatocytes or liver cells. Furthermore, compounds present in cloves may inhibit the activity of sugar-degrading enzymes such as alpha-amylase and alpha-glucosidase. Also promising are the results of a study conducted by Korean scientists which proved that consuming cloves can likely protect our blood vessels from the formation of atherosclerotic plaque. How would this be accomplished? Well, the researchers suggest that the compounds present in cloves prevent glycation of apolipoprotein A. Glycation is the process by which sugar attaches to a protein, in this case apolipoprotein. As a result of this process, the function of such a protein is impaired, meaning it no longer performs its function properly. Consequently, our body loses some ability to regulate blood cholesterol levels. While cholesterol itself is not dangerous, as its concentration in a healthy body is properly controlled according to our needs, in this case we can talk about a lack of such control. I emphasize that cholesterol is not the culprit here, but rather a certain dysfunction that disrupts the natural balance and can lead to the development of atherosclerosis. According to what is written in this scientific paper, the use of cloves is supposed to prevent these adverse modifications and thus protect us from atherosclerosis. It is believed that cloves can also be a valuable ingredient in the fight against acne. Acne vulgaris is a multifactorial inflammatory disease involving, among other things, an overactivation of our immune system due to the activity of bacteria of the Propionibacterium acnes species. This results in excessive production and secretion of pro-inflammatory molecules, which exacerbates the course of the disease. Scientists have noted that clove extract and the eugenol present in it can inhibit the production of pro-inflammatory cytokines such as tumor necrosis factor, as well as interleukin-1 and interleukin-8. In addition, cloves inhibit the secretion of metalloproteinase, which causes the spread of inflammation within the dermis. Based on these observations, the researchers suggest that cloves may reduce skin inflammation in people struggling with acne. Cloves are suspected to have beneficial effects on bone health. Although they are not a source of calcium, magnesium, vitamin D, or vitamin K, ingredients we associate with strong bones, scientists have shown that the phenolic compounds in them have a positive effect on bone cells. An experiment conducted on animals showed that the eugenol present in cloves is effective in preventing bone resorption or bone decay. The authors of this study were even tempted to make the rather far-reaching claim that cloves may protect against osteoporosis to some extent, primarily for postmenopausal women. Cloves have a mild analgesic effect, and this property is most often used for toothache. In many situations, chewing cloves helps relieve toothache, but it is important to remember that this is only a temporary and ad hoc action, and does not solve the problem because it does not remove the cause of the pain. Therefore, even if cloves help with a toothache, their use should not replace a visit to the dentist. Finally, when it comes to chewing cloves, it is worth mentioning that they can help get rid of the smell of garlic after eating it. Therefore, if you want to eliminate the smell of garlic, then chewing a few pieces of cloves can be a good solution. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I'm now going to give you a simple recipe for preparing clove syrup and infusion. To make clove syrup, put approximately 10 to 15 cloves in a jar and pour 1 cup of honey over them. To enhance the flavor and effect, you can optionally add cinnamon as desired. Seal the whole thing tightly and set it aside for approximately 10 days. After this time, take out the cloves, for example, by straining them in a sieve. Then, add about 1 cup of orange juice to the honey, stir, and you are done. I suggest using 1 teaspoon of the syrup 3 times a day. Additionally, I'd like to remind you here that honey should not be consumed by children under the age of 1. On the other hand, to make an infusion of cloves, brew 2 teaspoons of ground cloves in 1 cup of water for about 10 minutes covered. This infusion is best drunk 2 to 3 times a day at about 100 milliliters per serving. I hope that with this video I have managed to convince some of you to use cloves on a daily basis, not only sometimes. If you found the present material interesting, I would appreciate it if you could click the subscribe button, which will allow me to reach a wider audience. I also invite you to take a look at the video that just appeared on the screen, in which I am talking about using cloves in your coffee and not only cloves. To watch it now, just click on the thumbnail that appeared on the screen. And that's all for today's video. Thank you for your attention and see you next time.